Today, I wanted to talk about my biggest challenges and hardships that I've faced in being an influencer. Hi, everyone. This is Iris Vatrana, your yoga and wellness influencer. And today, I'm going to be talking about my journey as an influencer over the last 5 years and mainly about the not so good things, all the hardships and challenges that I've faced and overcome. I'm sorry if you notice me looking beyond the phone while talking because I'm currently overlooking a beautiful Aravali and agricultural farms and forest scene right outside my window, and it's too hard to not look. So you might see me occasionally looking outside because looking in the distance gives you that clarity of thought, right? And it makes it easier for me to talk if I look outside into the distance. Anyways, so the first hardship that I want to talk about is not being taken seriously. People think you're either self entertaining yourself or you're just trying to show yourself off to the world by shooting yourself all the time. They don't understand that being an influencer and content creation and sharing what is on your mind and whatever talent you have is actually a career, and it's a passion which one can turn into a career and make money out of it. But most importantly, it's a passion that one wants to follow and educate millions of people around the world, because through this platform, it's very easy to reach millions of people, which 20 years ago you could not, right? Even with all the talent you had, you could only impress or reach out or educate to a few hundreds of people at max. But reaching out to millions of people with whatever you know and whatever you can teach is a big thing, which people, even in your family, in your workplace, in your friend circles, they won't understand until they are doing it themselves. And I've been somebody who has been passionate about creating content, not for social media platforms, but creating memories is something that I've been doing for over 15 years now. I still remember when my son had just turned 1 year old, and that was 9 years ago. So now he's 10. So 9 years ago, when he had turned one, I remember I had created a 15-minute movie for him. And that was full of all the scenes I had recorded throughout the year of his first year of birth. So I have always loved shooting, uh, recording memories, creating a movie from those memories, editing them with music and making them uh, beautiful and showing it to people for keepsake and gifting it to people. I've always done that. And I didn't know that for me it would become a side career also. But it has been a passion, and people who know me closely know that 20 years ago, when I was in my engineering school, we had very small VGA cameras in our phones at that time. Even at that time, if there was one person who had the video recordings and photos of all the group, all the batch, all the close friends, it was me. So they could count on me to pull out those memories from 20 years ago with those VGA camera phones, right? Even before we had mobile phones, we used to have digicams, right? And I used to be always the one clicking photos with the digicam. So because when digicam came, it revolutionized the number of photos that you could take, right? You could take unlimited photos and videos. So I remember recording every single thing that I was doing. I didn't create any vlogs at that time, but I used to create those memories. So it has always been a passion. And with this yoga teacher certification, I just decided to also record my yoga journey. When I started posting it, it started becoming bigger, and then it became a thing to be shared with masses, and it became content, right? Now, for a very long time, that content was not monetizing. And if you're not earning money out of something, you're obviously doing time pass, right? So your closest people would not understand why you were on your phone all the time. They would judge you. They would think that you're just trying to show yourself to the world to grab attention. Either you want to grab attention, or you're just on the phone scrolling all day for self entertainment. While I was doing neither of that. Whatever I was scrolling on my phone was what other yoga influencers were doing, learning about spirituality more and more, learning about yoga philosophy, um, listening to podcasts of people talking about spirituality, manifestations, quantum physics, all sorts of things. I was editing my own videos to make them beautiful, watchable, shareable. So these are the things that I spent my time doing on my phone. But since I was not on my laptop, my closest people would not understand. And they would think, even, I mean, people at workplace, people at home, the friend circle, everybody would think that she's just addicted to phone. While all I was doing was planning my content ahead of time and preparing for my growth to share better and better content with everything I post. So that has been one big challenge. And now that my channels have started monetizing, I have started earning money, um people have started to understand this. And it's not their fault, it's not my family's fault, it's not my loved ones' fault, it's not my workplace fault that they thought that I was just wasting away time. Um, because this has not been a career traditionally, right? It's not a conventional career. I'm sure everybody who is an influencer today has had to struggle to reach to this point to make it their career and make their families and loved ones understand and trust them that this is something serious that they're doing. They're not just scrolling away their time. I initially skipped this part, but then I decided to include it because why not speak your truth? So, especially at workplace, if you have a 9 to 5 job along with your passion of being an influencer, you might have faced some of these challenges as well. Your colleagues, especially your peers and the people you directly work with, will leave no stone unturned to sabotage your career. They will be jealous and they'll do everything to prove that you're not working good enough, that your focus is on your influencer platform, and all sorts of things. I've had this experience. I shoot on weekends and post those reels throughout the week. And I work 9 to 5 from Monday to Friday. But my workplace people try to portray that I am shooting or working on my side passion while I should be at work. It is such a weird thing, such a foolish thing. Can't believe people can be so jealous, but it's corporate and people will pull you down, thinking that pulling you down will make them grow up in the ladder, which doesn't happen, of course. And I'm not saying that my family has not supported me. They have appreciated me, they have loved my content, they have enjoyed watching it, they have shared it, they have motivated me. But they still could not understand why I was spending my majority of time on my phone. So it's not their fault. I'm not blaming them, but it is a hardship that all of us together have overcome, and we have reached this point wherein now everybody acknowledges that um it is a real career stemming from a passion, and it's good that Iris is doing this. So that was the biggest hardship. The second biggest hardship is to find a place to shoot, to find the right equipments, to find the right climate, to find the right lighting, and to have all the right apps and editing services and understanding of how it works, how good posts versus bad posts differentiate, how good content versus bad content is seen by viewers. Uh, so that has been a huge hardship to overcome, and it's a constant learning process. I would say anybody starting out would not know, and this is not something that is taught in any content creation university as of now, right? There are mm, um, some basic um, content creation related packages that you can take. For example, I took that package from Ankur Wariku, which is not very expensive. It's just under 2000 rupees, and he even guarantees 100% return of the money if you don't see results with the content creation gyan that he's sharing. But what I found was that in my last 5 years, I had already learned all of the things that he was talking about. So it didn't really help me much because I had already experienced that, the gist of that in my journey. So maybe I was looking for something else. But for starters, it is a good thing. It is a good package, and there are many such packages that can help you catapult into the content creation space. But for me, there was nobody to guide, so it all came with learning. And I'm sure before anybody knew what works and what doesn't work, and before all these packages came out, all these bullet points of the gist of content creation came out, I'm sure everybody has struggled and learned it the hard way. So for yoga, I need good lighting, and for that, mostly I have to shoot outside. Now, I live in Gurgaon, and northwest India is a place where there is extremes of temperatures, of tropical temperatures, right? So 9 months is extreme heat, um, plus minus 2 months. 3 months is extreme cold, plus minus 2 months. So 1 month is extreme cold, and I would say 4 to 5 months is extreme heat. There are, I would say, just 3 to 4 months of good climate when you can shoot without sweating, without feeling chilled. You can shoot outside and enjoy the natural light and just shoot for hours. For the most part of the year, it's very harsh climate. And I remember my in-laws' place is Alwar, right? So I started content creation roughly during COVID time, and it was COVID, so we were all in our home places, hometowns. And I remember I used to go to the terrace of the house in extreme heat in the months of May and June, uh, to make some content. And I used to shoot 30-minute sessions for YouTube. You can go check them out. I have all the playlists, and you can see that my earliest posts have been from 4 years, 5 years ago. And I used to shoot in extreme heat because that was the only time there was good lighting. If I would wait for the evening, it would be too low lighting, but and it would still not be cool enough. It would still be hot. Early morning, I used to have calls, so I am into a full time job as an HR leader as well. For those of you who don't know, right? So in the morning, I used to have morning calls, so I couldn't go up in the morning to shoot. So I used to go in the wee hours, like in 2 p.m., 3 p.m. Uh, extreme heat, and just to get a good shot. And then came small form content like reels and shorts. And even for those, like if you get up and get ready to shoot, you don't feel like just shooting 1 30-second reel and coming back inside, right? If you go out, you shoot for at least 15 20 minutes, at least half an hour, um, before coming back inside. So I have done those things in harsh climates, and I'm sweating and I'm all red in my face, and I'm like really dehydrated and uh, tired, but I'm smiling in all my reels and shorts, trying to overcome the heat. Or in extreme winters of December and January, just trying not to shiver. And while practicing yoga, again, your body would warm up, so you would not feel so hot, but still, taking the step to go out and starting to shoot is not easy, trust me. So I have overcome all these hardships. I have found out ways to resolve these. I have found out tips and tricks to avoid the harshest times of the climate. And um, I've even built a studio on my terrace now so that I can go and shoot there, and it has glass walls, so I will not feel I will not be under the direct sun, but I'll still have the sunlight enough to look good in the reels. And I'm putting a AC and all there. So all of that has happened now this year in my fifth year, but for the last 5 years, these have been the challenges. Similarly, for camera, I had a MI camera which I started out with, right? So I started shooting with a MI camera phone. Then my husband bought me a iPhone 11 Pro Max because he knew that I was creating good content. Um, and then last year he gifted me uh, iPhone 14 Pro Max. So uh, these are those thoughtful things that you do for each other, right? Um, I'm not saying that my husband is rich and he spent all his money. No, we both contributed our money to buy these equipments. But and I'm not saying that your husband should get you these things too. No, it's a joint contribution. It's our money. Both of us are earning, and it's our money. So uh, this is how my equipment's improved. I got a better tripod stand. I bought those remote shutters to not be dependent, and I've not been dependent on anybody to shoot me ever. Uh, I even remember that I was shooting alone once on the terrace, with the tripod only and my phone, and I could not see what was behind me. And there were two to three monkeys that just crossed me, and I was meditating, so my eyes were closed, right, for the shot. When I opened my eyes, I heard some noise, and I opened my eyes and I saw there were two, three monkeys there, and I ran from there. So on that terrace, it's very normal for monkeys to come. So that was another challenge, apart from the heat. That was another challenge I used to face. But I still went out, and I went out alone to shoot. So I've been self dependent from day one. My husband has not been running around after me shooting me. Never. Nobody has been running around after me shooting me. It has always been my tripod, my phone, and my shutter. So for all those who keep commenting that the your photographer is amazing, your cameraman is amazing, it's all me. So thank you for the compliments. So yeah, so that was the second hardship that I overcame. So the third and final hardship that I want to talk about is um, the trollers on social media. I would not say I have struggled a lot with this hardship, but it is a real thing, and I want to talk about it. Even though personally I'm not so much impacted, but I know millions of girls, millions of people out there are impacted because the people who troll leave no stone unturned to make you feel pathetic and ruin your day. And sometimes your day actually gets ruined because, it's human tendency that we ignore the 99 good comments on our post, but we remember that one bad comment, and we remember it for days, and it affects us so badly. And those 99 good comments cannot compensate for it. That's human nature, that's human mind, that's the working of the human mind. So I want to share this hardship just because I want my fellow influencers to understand this entire mind's dynamic and overcome this. uh, Trolls are people who are having a bad day themselves, and they are just looking for somebody to take it out on. So um, whenever somebody, and not just on social media but in general, I tell my kids also, whenever somebody is being rude to you, I tell my kids, whenever somebody is being rude to you, be it your teacher, your parents, your friends, whoever, just always remember that it's them who is having a bad day, not you. There's nothing wrong with you. Them having a bad day and projecting it onto you does not mean that you become bad. You are still what you are. From somebody's comment, you don't change. You remain who you are. Those people who come out with bad comments are having a bad day themselves. So just try to send them your good vibes. So whenever I get a bad comment, I try to send positivity to that person because I know that that person, I'm sure, is having a very bad day today. So why not send some positivity their way? That's my way of thinking about it. So just wanted to share that. And within this same hardship point, I also wanted to share another one, which is the whole uh, collaboration and monetization community. Since this is a very this is an industry in a very nascent stage, right? Influencer marketing is not a traditional business, a traditional way of doing marketing. So even brands are not sure how to do influencer marketing. The influencer marketing agencies who call themselves experts have no clue how it works. They are just acting as the mediator between the brand and the influencer. And the influencers do not know their worth. So they do not know what is right for them to ask, what is right for them to be treated as, and what is their worth and how much do they deserve. So since all of this is in a very nascent stage, everybody is still learning, there is a long way to go for these to evolve. So in my case, it has been a hardship working with some of the brands and influencer marketing agencies because they treat you like you're not an influencer. You just have a certain number of followers and you're just posting random content. You have random followers and you can, I mean, for you it's like a piece of cake to post one promotional reel for the brand, as if you don't deserve any payment, as if you don't have any worth. No, it's a serious service you're providing, right? For all the free content that I've posted 300 free videos on YouTube. If you are bringing me one brand collaboration and I'm asking you for a certain amount of money, and you think that I'm earning so much money just by posting a reel, no, I have posted 300 reels before that to get to that point that that brand collaboration is coming my way. So it's not a work of one reel, it's a work of an entire year, probably, or 2 years, or your entire journey that you've come so far and you have so many followers. Brands do not respect that. Influencer marketings are not professional at all. So that is one challenge that I've faced and I want to share with my fellow influencers um, and my community. Uh, I don't want to demean anybody because I've had very good experiences as well. I've had brands taking my services and paying me within 3 days of delivery. I've had brands paying me in advance of making the delivery. I've had brands giving me extremely wonderful experience like the one I had in Rishikesh Ganga Kinare Hotel just last week. Um, but yeah, there are bad experiences as well. And I've been in the corporate for 14 years. I'm an HR leader. I've worked with marketing teams. I know how brand communication and marketing teams in companies work like. I know what are the kinds of marketing heads that are out there. I know the kind of teams that brands have. I have worked with them in corporate in the same organization. And not just in one organization, I've worked in 4 big multinational companies. So I know how it works. And brands and influencer marketing agencies cannot fool me. But I understand that there are a lot of stay at home moms and a lot of people who don't have corporate experience, who don't know these kind of dynamics, and they fall prey to such kind of brands and marketing agencies. So my heart goes out to them, and I just want to share whatever I can from my understanding of how it all works. But for me, having this corporate experience definitely helps in a big way in handling and overcoming all these challenges of the influencer world. So, this is all I wanted to share today. These are the 3 or 4 hardships that I've faced in my 5 years of influencer journey. Let me know your thoughts, comments, reactions. Please do send out positivity and blessings to me so that my hardships keep decreasing and decreasing further and further. Thank you for all your support. I love you.